Although Honda's been making hybrids since the early 2000s, we've just recently got a CR-V hybrid. And of course, being a CR-V, it's never been known to being an exciting entry in this compact hybrid SUV segment, but this 2023 CR-V hybrid has been significantly improved, and let's talk about it. Now, shout out to my friend Mike at Sport Honda for this CR-V in particular. It's a 2023 Sport Touring in Radiant Red Pearl. It's a very pretty color. I do have to say, when I first stumbled upon this one on the lot, I suffered some sticker shock because the MSRP of this loaded Touring, well, Sport Touring, is $40,000. And with markups and accessories, that brings the price of this one in particular to $45,000. You could tell a hybrid CR-V apart from a normal CR-V mostly because of the wheels. The Sport, the base trim, will have an 18-inch black wheel, which looks kind of just like this. But a Sport Touring like this one has these nice 19-inch wheels. And I think this is the first time we've seen 19s on a CR-V. They make it look a little bit more up-class. Other than that, there's just some black exterior trim like on the roof rails and on the mirrors. There's a hybrid badge on the trunk, and the hybrids, interestingly enough, have dual exhaust tips on the bumper. The hybrid system is new for the CR-V and other modern Hondas. I think it's a bit more refined as well. So this is a 2-liter dual overhead cam, if I can find the hood latch, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. I like that. At least for $45,000, at least you get hood struts, huh? But it's Honda's 4th generation of their 2-mode hybrid setup, and this makes 15 pound-feet more of torque. This makes 204 horsepower and 247 pound-feet of torque. Curious to see how that feels in a real-life application, but the MPGs are what really make this impressive. So Honda claims 40 MPG in the city, 34 on the highway, and a combined rating of 37. This system is paired to a CVT, and you can choose for the first time between front and all-wheel drive in your CR-V hybrid. So a strong trait of the CR-V has always been practicality, and because this one is a Sport Touring, you have a hands-free tailgate, but I don't have the key fob on me. Wow, the wind. But you do have a power tailgate. The trunk is really big, and it surprised me for a hybrid CR-V. Right off the bat, you don't get a spare tire because that's where the battery pack is, underneath this floor here. Behind the second row seats, you have 39 cubic feet of volume, and if you fold that 60-40 split rear seat down, you get up to 76 cubic feet of volume, which is pretty cavernous, but still smaller than some old SUVs. One thing that I think Honda forgot in this new generation of CR-V is those handy little handles. Haha, that's a pun. But the little handles that help you fold the seats down. Now you have to reach, which isn't that hard, but adds to that convenience. Honda did not recommend you towing with the last gen CR-V hybrid, but now, guess what? You can tow up to 1,000 pounds with your CR-V hybrid. 1,000 pounds. And to add to that practicality, because this is something that I would get if I owned one of these, is the factory crossbars, which is a $400 option from Honda. If you were so inclined to, you could put a rooftop tent on top of your CR-V and maybe hook up bikes on a hitch. With 1,000 pounds, I don't know how far you can go. This one, I'm impressed how wide the doors open. This opens more, almost 90 degrees. You could easily put a car seat in here, but because it's windy, let's get inside. The seats in the back are not heated. I don't think you can get heated rear seats on any CR-V. You do have an armrest with 2 cup holders, pretty nicely sized, and it's pretty wide, so that makes me think, I think 3 people could sit across from each other in the back seat, and the center hump isn't that intrusive either, so I think you'd be pretty comfortable. There's also no third zone for the climate control, but Honda did provide 2 rear air vents, which is something nice, and there's 2 USB Type-C ports for that fast charging. The seats themselves are very comfortable, and where's the lever? They do recline. This far, yeah, but they don't slide. But legroom is great. I'm 5'9", Headroom is also good. You can see I have maybe 6 inches of legroom and my feet can fit all the way under the seat. It's very comfortable back here. And the material is softer than the last gen, less park bench-like. Now, because Honda says this is a sport model, this is where you'd sit most of the time as you're driving. First thing I'll talk about is the steering wheel, because this is Honda's newest design of steering wheel. It's a 3-spoke leather-wrapped unit. It has a nice amount of buttons on it. The left side controls the volume and audio and also Bluetooth, and it also can scroll through different menus on the gauges. And on the right side, all those buttons control the cruise control functions. This one, since it's a sport touring, also has a heated steering wheel, which is very nice. You also have paddle shifters, which don't do what you think. This actually controls the regen braking, so it makes it more aggressive or less intrusive. I don't know how I necessarily feel about Honda's new gauges. I don't dislike them, but I wish that they did a full analog or full digital, because this is kind of half and half. It looks nice though. It's a nice clear font. It's very legible. You also have a bunch of different menus in here. The front seats are just as comfortable, if not more comfortable, than the rear seats. They're very soft. The material is much softer than the last gen, especially. The driver's seat is an 8-way full power unit with 2-way adjustable lumbar. You also have 2-person memory for the driver's seat and the mirrors, which is a nice touch. Something that I think Honda saved for the RDX and not the CRV is cooled seats, because you cannot get cooled seats or a pano sunroof on a CRV. You can only get heated seats. As we move to the center stack, we can see Honda's newer infotainment system. I actually like it. They introduced this in the newer Accord. I believe this is a 9-inch screen on the touring models and a 7-inch screen on the Sport and the EX models. But all of them have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. This 9-inch is very responsive, very snappy. I like this newer version of Honda Link. They use the built-in Garmin navigation system, but most of the time I just use Apple CarPlay. Also, if you put the car into reverse, it makes a weird noise. But the backup camera also gives you 3 angles. So you have a wide view right now, a normal view, and a top-down view for helping you line up with a tow hitch to tow your 1,000-pound whatever. I also do like that you still have a volume knob. I remember Honda's bad, dark time when they got rid of the volume knob. The audio system in these touring models is pretty decent. Of course, it's not going to be anything comparable to the ELS system in Acura's, but it's pretty decent. Down below, you have dual zone climate control, very simple controls. All the knobs feel so premium. Everything in this car feels premium. It doesn't feel like $45,000, but everything feels well built. I also find it interesting with these newer versions of these more car-like Hondas, like the Civic, CRV, and HRV. They have this sweeping vent that goes all the way across. It looks nice. I actually like it. Makes the interior kind of look less dull and drab and more architectural. You have a normal USB Type A port and a USB Type C port. You also have Qi wireless charging underneath that again. Also, for the first time, Honda allows you to change your drive modes. So there's this drive mode select, so you could choose between sport, normal, econ, and snow. And snow mode changes how the traction control reacts to wheel slip, and sport mode makes the throttle a little bit more, shall I say, aggressive. You also have downhill assist control for the first time in the CRV. Maybe one day, if Honda sends us a loaner, we'll see how that one does off-road. But of course, you have an electronic e-brake as well. There's also 2 big cup holders, and the armrest is nicely padded with more of that orange stitching. The front seats have that perforated stitching as well, but you have a pretty deep center console with, I like Honda, they let you configure the trays how you want them or completely take it out. But there's no power outlets or anything down here, but there's plenty up there. So I'm pretty new to these CRV hybrids because I had plenty of time driving the one in Nashville, the normal 1.5 liter, but this hybrid kind of does drive differently. The steering feels a little bit tighter, and it is an interesting experience, you know, being in something so quiet. But Something about this is that it doesn't let you go into EV mode yourself, but let's floor it in. That was 60. That's not that fast. It feels kind of responsive, I guess, you know, in like normal day-to-day driving, but I'm really curious about that 247 pound-feet of torque, because it doesn't really feel like that, but it's probably just because it does put its power down very smooth. And when it transitions from gas to electric, gas to EV mode and vice versa, it's actually pretty smooth doing it. It's very quiet as well. CRVs have always had a little bit too much road noise, and this, it's pretty silent. Full throttle. It's not fast. I don't know if it feels much faster at all than the other CRV, than the normal CRV hybrid. I'm curious what 0 to 60 is, but it also seems like it pumps audio into the speakers. Why? It's a CRV because it's quiet in normal mode. I'd rather have it be quiet even in sport mode, but doing 70 miles an hour, it is really quiet and very smooth. When you don't floor it, it has a bit of response. It's interesting, it has steps in the shifts, and this is a CVT. You don't feel them, so I'm not really opposed to it, but it turns pretty well, and there's not that much body roll. Let's see. It just gets to 60. Like, it feels like it takes a while to get to 60. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna try 0 to 60 in this CRV hybrid. Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
$60. How fast was that?
9.8 seconds.
9.8. It's faster than an HRV, but still slow. And wasn't the gas CRV we did like 10? So it's a little bit faster, but not by much. Wow.
9.88.
Roundabouts. The steering is pretty nice. It's very light, but it also has a nice weight to it. Kind of like a reassuring, like, okay, I feel safe. I guess I'd say I feel safe driving this. Let's see how this handles the twisties. I guess I will put myself in sport, and I'll put myself in B mode. So I do also notice that sport mode makes the regen braking by default a little bit more sensitive. So it's kind of like it's trying to do engine braking. Wow. So there's no road feel. That's one thing, which kind of makes it hard to drive it sporty, but this is a CRV who is driving it sporty. And I'm nowhere near the limit either, but the lane departure is real annoying. But it takes it handles these like kind of, I don't know, floppy was the first word that I thought of, but these rolling hills. It's not sporty at all though. I don't like how that audio sounds when it pumps in. But it feels like I'm going faster than I was. I was only doing 60. And it's reasonably responsive. Of course, it's not going to be like an RDX. It's so quiet in EV mode, but let's see. It's okay. It's like, of course it's not sporty, but if you're ever on a windy road it'll do it perfectly fine without complaining. Like, traction control hasn't really been that intrusive. The body doesn't lean that much. It doesn't float. It's actually very composed, but the lane departure warning is very annoying. Wow. Yeah, it's honestly surprising, but this platform that they've used for the new HRV and the 11th Gen Civic has impressed me in all three, in the Civic, HRV, and CRV now. There's a man walking. I also have it in maximum regen mode, but of course, because it's just a gas and electric hybrid, it's not that noticeable compared to an actual electric car or a plug-in. Speaking of plug-ins, it would be interesting to see a plug-in CRV, I guess, compete with a RAV4 Prime. And that, my friends, is a gander at the 2023 Honda CRV Sport Touring Hybrid. That's a long name, but I'm glad I was able to finally show it to you guys, because we were able to look at the normal one, and it's the same color as the normal one too. But I hope that you gained a little bit of CRV knowledge, and let me know if you have one of these 23 CRVs and what you think of them, because I actually like it a lot more than the last gen. The last gen was kind of to me, but this is better. But enough of me rambling. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Stay tuned for many Honda videos and all kinds of other car content on the Bern on Cars YouTube channel. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, peeps.